everybody, welcome to another Con support video. This one is going to be on, let's see, exponents with integer bases. Let's go through and do that, all right? So exponents with integer bases, I don't need the fireworks on. Let's see if I do classic. Let's see if that works. All right, so let's go. It says -1 in parentheses to the third power. So the thing to remember here is that this would be -1 in parentheses as your base, and then the exponent is to the third power. So that whole parentheses is being raised to the third power. So what that means basically is you're talking about -1 to the third. So let me just kind of get black here. There we go. So, do I get black? It's not letting me select it. There we go. All right, so anyways, -1 to the third. So you're going to have -1 as the base. Be raised to the third power means times itself. So this is just going to be -1 times -1 times -1. Now, when you have a negative times itself 3 times, the answer is still going to be negative. So the answer happens to be negative, and it's going to be -1 because we know negative times negative times negative is a negative, and then 1 times 1 times 1 is 1. So this is just worth -1. Okay, so the answer here is -1. Okay, for the next one, you're going to do -1 to the second power. Now, that means the base is -1 in parentheses, and it's being raised to the second power. So in this case, you've got -1 times itself, and a negative times a negative is a positive, so this is going to be +1. So that's +1. For the next one, you've got -3 to the third, but this is different because this time you've got a -3 to the third, and what you'll notice is that the base is now not in parentheses. So it's really negative and then 3 to the third power. So the base is actually just the 3, all right? So the exponent only applies directly to what it's touching. It doesn't apply to the negative in front, all right? This is negative times the quantity of 3 to the third. So what would that look like? Well, it looks like this. You have a negative in front, and you're multiplying that by 3 to the third. Well, what is 3 to the third? It's 3 times 3 times 3. So what is the answer then? The answer in this case is a negative because 3 times 3 times 3 is going to be a positive value, which is 9 times 3, which is 27. But then you're going to multiply it by a negative. So this is going to be -27. And that's how you do that problem. Okay? So it's going to be -27. Let's do the next one. This one's -1 to the fourth power, but the negative is not included in the parentheses. It's not being raised to the fourth power. So once again, this one's the same as what we had previously. So it's a negative. And then you're going to have 1 as the base, be raised to the fourth power as the exponent. So this is the same as negative times the quantity of 1 times 1 times 1 times 1. Well, 1 times 1 times 1 times 1 is 1, and negative times 1 is -1. So the answer here would be -1. And then for the next one, you're going to have the quantity of -2 raised to the fifth power. So once again, you guys notice that there's the parentheses there, right? So now the whole thing is being raised to the fifth power. So this is like -2 to the fifth. So this would be -2 times -2 times -2 times -2 times -2. And 5 negatives multiplied together is going to be a negative answer. I think we all know that. And then what is 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 times 2? Well, it's going to be the same as, let me scroll this out a little bit. It's going to be the same as 4 times 4 times 2. So it's going to be the same as basically 4 times 4 times -2, which is going to be the same as 16 times -2, which is going to be -32. Okay, so this is going to be a negative answer, -32. And on this one, this is all raised to the fourth power, so that's the quantity of -3 raised to the fourth power. So if we think about what that looks like, it's going to look like this. You're going to have the base that is, in fact, -3. And that is raised to the exponent, that is 4. So you're basically going to do negative 3 times itself 4 times. So it's negative 3 times negative 3 times negative 3 times negative 3. And remember, that's going to be a positive answer because you have 4 negative factors. You're going to end up with a positive answer. If you have an even number of negative factors, you get a positive answer. If you have an odd number of negative factors, you get a negative answer. And so this is going to be a positive answer. And what is that? It's going to be 9 times 9, which is what? 81. Okay? So this is going to be positive 81. And then our next one is going to be negative 4 and then to the third power, but there's no parentheses. So once again, this is the same as negative times the base of 4 raised to the third power. That's what this means. And so this would be negative times the quantity of 4 times 4 times 4. What is 4 times 4 times 4? That's going to be 16 times 4 is 64. So the answer here is that this is actually negative 64. Okay? And that is how you do these kinds of problems. Hope that helps.